Okay, this movie is for Chapter 7, Problem Solve 1, the Golf Pro Shop, and we're looking at steps 8 and 9. We're going to build this total Q1 sales volume. So the last query we did the volume by type. This is a, and if you remember, we got a volume number for each different category. This one, we're going to do a total for all sales. Okay, so let's see, what do I got here? This was the one we just did. I'm going to close that out. So let's read this. Create a query based on table transaction that calculates gross sales volume during the first quarter. Okay, so once again, we got to pay attention to that. The query should calculate the total quantity of items sold by applying the sum aggregate to the quantity field. Rename this field total Q1 sales volume. So let's go ahead and begin our query design. We only have one table, transaction. So we're going to put that in there. And all we're going to do here is this quantity field. We're going to bring that down. So if I run it like this, then I just get every record, 112 records in that transaction table, what the quantity is. But we know we don't want that. We want the sum aggregate of quantity. So once again, this aggregate is one of those words that clues you into we have to put the total row. When you put the total row in, it's going to put group by on all your fields. And so you have to evaluate whether or not you want to change that. We know we don't want to group by quantity. We want a sum. So we're going to click on here and do sum. So there's our total amount, but look, it still says sum of quantity, so I have to figure out that where it says, oops, I'm sorry, I'm up here. Rename this as total. So I'm going to right click and zoom. I'm going to go in front of it, total Q1 sales volume, colon, and then I'm going to put quantity in square brackets. So all that did was when I run it, I'm getting, that's the name, right? I still get the same value, 346. But that includes everything, all of the records, right? But look, we still have this first quarter of 2018. So transaction date is the date that tells you when that item was sold. So if I put that down there and run it, look, I get an aggregate for each day that there was a transaction because it's grouping by. So this is one of those times where we need to use transaction date, but we don't want it included in the calculation of our aggregate values. So that's where we're going to change this to where. And then down here, we're going to zoom and do our between, like is what we normally do with date ranges. So between, and what are we doing? First quarter, so 1/1/2018 and 3/31/2018. We're going to do OK. So now I am using transaction date to qualify which records are included when I want to sum quantity, but it's not part of the answer grid. It's not part of any aggregate score or calculation. So now if I run it, look, I have 106. So that is the sales volume for everything between that date range. So that's good. That's what we want. 106 is the right answer. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to save it as qry total Q1 sales volume. And then I'm just going to make sure I got everything. Volume by the first quarter, check. Calculate the total quantity, this was quantity, by applying the sum, got it. Aggregate function to that field. So if I pull that out, you see quantities there. Rename this field total Q1 sales volume, colon, good. No, and save it as QRY total Q1 sales volume. I am good. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this, and we're done with step 8 and 9. Thank you.